This one's going to be relatively short. I don't really have a whole lot to say for this month. I will admit, I'm starting to really like turtleneck sweaters, even if I did kind of steal this look from somebody else. But I don't have an orange skirt. Oh well. It could be me, but I feel like if I want to do this look justice as well, I need to get like a pair of those long riding boots, a beret, and one of those really pretentious cigarette holders. It's just a pen. I don't smoke. But yeah, I have learned to really like sweaters. Not only do I keep it cold in my house because I'm cheap and I'd rather pay for air conditioning, but I feel like they kind of accentuate my curves a little bit. Like, I don't know what it is. I just kind of wear this sweatshirt and I feel like I kind of popped out a little bit. And on top of that, I just feel really warm and comfortable with this. The only problem is I still got relatively buff arms, so it's kind of hard to take this thing off at times. But other than that, yeah, if you're trying to find a fashion for yourself, try sweatshirts. I highly recommend turtlenecks. Plus, the other nice thing about turtlenecks, it's that annoying Adam's apple. It could be another topic to talk about right there is how the voice training is going. Well, I mean, I think I'm sounding better. Although I still don't really feel like I've gotten very convincing yet. Although the instructor says I'm actually pretty ahead of what's standard. I'm pretty close to breaking into female resonance. I should probably back up a little bit. So, the main things that get mixed up is resonance and pitch. So pitch is pretty easy. It's when you're singing. So you want a low pitch, it's more like a ah. But if you got a high pitch, it's more like ah. Stuff like that. Now a higher or lower resonance, that's a lot harder to do. Probably the best way I can explain it is if you ever used a microwave, there's kind of that low and then if you try to mimic that note, you'll notice that there's kind of an echoing effect. That is resonance. Or another really good example I can think of is the bagpipes. If you ever hear bagpipes playing, there's one note that plays constantly. It's a very similar thing with the voice. The resonance, my instructor calls it the fingerprint of your voice. If you're able to raise the resonance, you're raising that general tone that plays throughout whenever you're speaking. So this right here is my general resonance. I can kind of go up in pitch a little bit. The only problem is when I go up in pitch, it also kind of raises the resonance. So I'm trying to figure out how to have a high resonance but a low pitch. It's rather difficult to do, but I think that's really the main thing about voice training. Let's see. So this will be my 3rd month on progesterone. I think I talked about that already. It's another hormone that's basically estrogen concentrate in terms of the effects of the body. In terms of puberty, when a woman is going through it, they have estrogen and they have progesterone to help develop everything. So it's a very similar thing with trans women as well. Get a little bit of biology in there for you. So speaking of the progesterone, this is one of the things I laugh at when I look back at it. So I remember reading the side effects, and they said one of them, on a very, very rare occasion, it could end up raising your T levels, which I don't want that. I want high E levels. So after starting progesterone, I basically just have the appetite of an animal. I am just super hungry all the time. Usually with me, I'd make meals that would last for like 3 or 4 days. Now it only lasts for about 1.5. I'm just really hungry. Now I've got greater appreciation for my parents when they had to pay their grocery bill when I was going through the first puberty. That was the thing that frightened me a little bit, is the last time I was this super hungry all the time, it was because my body was all hopped up on tea. So I figured I'd at least give it until the next blood test, which was this month, to see what was happening. The crazy thing is, it was actually my E levels which were really high. So my doctor said that when I'm progesterone, try to keep the levels at about 200 or so. Try not to go too much above 200. I was at about 250. When I saw these results, I asked the doctor, okay, I know we have an appointment soon, but is this high of an E level going to kill me? Is this going to like shut down my liver and kidneys? She said no, my functionality was working fine there, and I didn't have to alter my prescription at this time. But at the same time, it was a little scary. But hey, the doctor tells me she had a patient that was somehow over 1,000 E in her system. And if that could be a thing and still survive, that's good. But wow, I have a feeling that's probably doing a whole lot of things. I will admit, having a higher E in my system, I think I am a little more emotional now. I will admit, I did kind of cry at things that felt very juvenile. Usually, if there's like a heartwarming story about like, I don't know, a child and their parents being separated and then them getting together and they're crying over the reunion, that kind of sends a few tears to my eyes. The only other real thing is, while I definitely cry a little bit more, I'm also a lot happier. It's kind of the weird thing. It's like I was just kind of emotionally numb, and now I'm starting to feel emotions. It's kind of nice, actually. It's like now I'm a person. But I think this is the last point I will end on. So, quite recently, I got a collection of all the Winnie the Pooh books written by A.A.L. Milne, I want to say his name was. And so I've just started to get back into Winnie the Pooh again. So after that, I really wanted to rewatch the Disney movie Christopher Robin, which I knew was very emotional for me the first time I saw it, and I wanted to see if it was just as intense this time, and yeah, there were a few points of just like, I'm only 10 minutes in, why am I crying? Yeah, I guess that's just Winnie the Pooh in a nutshell. It's always been very emotional driven. I mean, even some of the episodes of the Brand New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, they call it, there's really a lot of heavy emotions there. So here's my challenge if you ever find it. So with the Brand New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, there's an episode called Find Her, Keep Her. If you can get through that whole episode without crying, you are made of stone. But anyway, why do I bring this up? This year, our family was able to actually get together in the big gathering like we usually do for Christmas. One of the relatives couldn't make it, but gave everybody little jars of honey. And the whole time I'm just like, wouldn't it be funny if they also gave away little Pooh Bears with them? And so, having to watch my parents' house while they're away, I have a little Winnie the Pooh teddy bear that my nephew would use whenever he'd nap over there. And I'm just like, take a picture of the Winnie the Pooh with the honey. That way I can still kind of have my joke. As I'm arranging the picture, I'm just kind of like, what's wrong with a grown man having a Winnie the Pooh doll? Grown man. I'm not a man anymore. And I guess that's one of the other double standards I've started to figure out now. I remember that was one of the things I was rather jealous about, was like, with men, it seemed like you had to grow up in a hurry. All those stuff you loved in childhood, oh, you had to throw that out the window. That's juvenile. But with women, it's more like, oh, look, they like something that's cute, maybe a little more juvenile. That is definitely a woman. I was always a little jealous of that. And only up until now, I've kind of put that together again. In fact, that's kind of a thing as well. I mean, think about it. If a grown man has a teddy bear, most people consider that a sign of some sort of deep-seated mental trauma. If a girl has a teddy bear, nobody really bats an eye at it. And that's kind of sad, really. But at the same time, I'm starting to actually see the reason why stereotypical girls would have teddy bears. Since starting hormone replacement therapy, I like hugs. It's the weirdest thing. Like, I like to hug things, especially when I'm sleeping. So most of the time I just kind of hug another pillow. And oftentimes I'm just kind of like, wouldn't it be great if I had a teddy bear right now? But yeah. All this double standards of society between men, women, as well as so many other things. I'm pretty sure there's been studies upon studies of it. But that was just one other thing I wanted to throw out there that I didn't think of at first, and I'm not sure if too many other people would have thought of as well. I guess really the only major thing is, so because of my E being so high, we're going to have another blood test just to make sure that everything's sitting right. Because in all honesty, I don't want to give up on the progesterone because Added a few more curves into my life, shall we say. I've started to fill out, and it's nice. It's great. The only problem is when I'm running, there's a fair bit of bouncing going around, and it's kind of painful. But at the same time, I just kind of look down and I'm like, it's real. It's finally happening, and that just brings up a situation of extreme happiness, a point where I just start crying a little bit. In fact, I'm getting a little misty-eyed just thinking about it. Sometimes I just have to remind myself that, yeah, this is real. I am a woman now. I no longer have to dream or wonder if this is the right thing because I know it is. I think that's about it. If there's any questions or any other things you want me to cover, feel free to leave them in the comments section. After all, I feel like I don't have to restrain myself as much in the comments section as I do in these videos. So, until next time, be yourself, no matter who that is.